Yeah, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Yeah, snap into a Slim Jim, man. Welcome back to Milk Sack Magic, where the magic happens. The land of milk and honey. So News Nation. So they did actually a news coverage of, you wouldn't believe it. So they had the UAP congressional hearing about last month. And UAP congressional hearing, and their documentary came out shortly after called The Age of Disclosure. Absolutely insane. So I want to put you on. I want you to know about this documentary. The future is now, boys. Every second that becomes the past and the future is now. I want to dive into it, and I want you to come into it with the open mind, but also with the realization that a lot of what's in this documentary is going to be the truth laced in with a bunch of fabrication, a bunch of lies, because ultimately that's what they do. They'll mix it in, they'll take the truth, infuse it, and insert it in a bunch of stuff that's not plausible. And so you can't make a clear distinction of what's true or what's not. But I think it's worth a look. Definitely. The Age of Disclosure.
Or UAP, as the government now calls it. This show was the first to interview whistleblower David Grush, and he was a former Air Force officer who came forward to claim that the government had secretly recovered alien technology. That was 2 years ago. And now what was then crazy has become something of a unifying topic for lawmakers from both sides of the aisle, to the point where a brand new documentary is being released today about all things UAP, and it's all featuring officials from the very highest levels of the U.S. government. The documentary is called The Age of Disclosure. And
keep that in mind. So she mentioned that all of these men that have come forth are of the higher echelons of the government, of the military branches. So what do we come with? We come with integrity first. We come with a moral code. We come with just this innate ability to be able to identify what we perceived. We just have to tell the truth. So a lot of these guys come out and they fly these aircraft over the Pacific Ocean. They ride the boats. They're part of the Navy. They're on these massive vessels and they see these UAPs shoot and dart in and out of the water over in the Pacific Ocean. So we talked about recently in some of my previous videos that there's giant compounds or something moving along the bottom of the ocean. And if you are alien of origin, if you're alien of life, the best location to hide out for many of us, I would say, is in our oceans. It makes up 70% of our planet is our oceans.
tells the story of an 80-year global cover-up concealing the existence of intelligent alien life and technology. Tonight, we bring you an exclusive clip.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
Some people claim it would cost them their lives if they spoke out about these things.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
When you're talking about losing your lives, you lose your security clearance. Most of us sign like an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. You lose your clearance, you lose your credibility. They shame you. They try to make you look out like a kook. If you look at many men in history, Bob Lazar of the time, any person that's come out with information that actually is sustainable, that could be altering, life-changing. Essentially, this could completely affect our economy. So if we end up coming across a UAP with technology that's actually has sustainable energy, not using fossil fuels, not using the energy of the time, like electricity or whatever the case may be, something sustainable, like a fusion technology that can warp and change our necessity across all governments, that we won't need to invade Venezuela to steal oil and create this false narrative about Afghanistan and weapons of mass destruction, so we can go in and infiltrate and be able to steal their resources and eliminate their people and frame it as if they're terrorists. So it's like even the tactics that are at play worldwide, the war and colonization and all this, like, sustainable energy. There's this TV series called The Man Who Fell to Earth. It's very good stuff. Let me pull up a trailer for you real quick. Bro, it's about essentially an alien life that's fell to Earth, and essentially his planet, his homeworld, is going to die in about 2 years. This is it right here. But first it was a book, but essentially it's about this alien that fell to Earth. His planet is going to die in 2 years. Ours is going to basically die in 2030. And unless we adopt sustainable energy, because there's going to be a point of no return. So after the year 2030, then there's no way to recover. There's no way to be able to save ourselves from ourselves. And so he came to Earth looking for the best and the brightest. And as a result, he ends up saving his own planet. And I don't want to ruin it for you because I really want you to watch it. Also watch The Age of Discovery. But then he also saves ours, essentially. It's such a good...
I was sent to find you.
The Man Who Fell to Earth, bro. Fire.
There's a door in front of you. On the other side is something I could never eat.
And what I believe is this TV show is based in reality. I think it's based off of a lot of truth. And I believe that we have alien technology on our own planet right now that fell from somewhere. And essentially we can use it to create sustainable energy and create basically a world for ourselves where we wouldn't have war, we wouldn't have pollution, and innovation would be exponential. But what's holding us back? Probably the Zionists, probably the money hungry, whoever the fuck. And just the people who are money hungry, big corporation, big, essentially the capitalistic mindset, which is okay in some capacity, but not to the detriment of humanity. And I'm totally cool with a capitalistic society. That's how we make money, and I'm not monetized, but I wish I could be monetized one day. But essentially, just all of the psyops and propaganda would go away if we had sustainable energy. But a lot of people that are rich right now would no longer be rich. The wealthy families, the 13th wealthiest families would no longer be as rich as they are because they wouldn't be manipulating countries, and also the American people, you and me, so would be directly impacted by this. I believe there's sustainable energy out there. I think what we're going to watch here soon enough. But when you watch this documentary, keep an open mind. They're going to be lying to you in a lot of aspects, but if you watch, I know it sounds stupid, kind of crazy, right? But like, if you watch The Man Who Fell to Earth, you start connecting the pieces because it actually gives you a breakdown. So I think it's actually based in a lot of reality, actually. So sounds crazy, but it's like 80 years of cover up. Okay. They just talked about 80 years of cover up.
Claim it would cost them their lives if they spoke out about these things.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come. This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
If Xi Jinping had access to this, if Putin had access, you think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
Sometimes strategic surprises that change the course of human history.
Dan Farah is the documentary's director and producer, and he joins me now. All right, Dan, I was up way too late watching this entire thing because I literally couldn't stop. Congratulations. It's fantastic.
So this guy's most likely part of a 3-letter agency, and I definitely believe he is. Or he's probably one of the Zionists, or he's probably Israeli, or he's Mossad, or whatever the case may be. He's CIA. That's pretty much all the same thing. And obviously he has an objective to lie to you, so just keep that in mind. Like I said, I keep saying the same thing. I'm sorry.
Fantastic. I was struck by this line from one of the people you interviewed. Without a doubt, there has never been a program before that has been so successfully kept out of the public eye as the Legacy Crash Retrieval Program. What is it?
One of the intelligence officials in the film makes that statement. And, Previously the most secretive program was the Manhattan Project, but we found out in hindsight that the Manhattan Project had leaks. So when this program was created, they made it even more secretive and put more security measures in place. And those security measures have ruled the day the last 80 years.
The legacy crash retrieval program is something that the Air Force does for the most part. They have special units that go out to collect, to retrieve alien spacecraft that have crashed.
Well, the people in my film reveal that the elements of this program are elements of the Air Force, elements of the CIA, elements of the Department of Energy, and military defense contractors.
Department of Energy is key. Remember that. They talk about that in The Man Who Fell to Earth. Department of Energy, that's where the money is. Okay, they have a vested interest in this technology not getting out. Because if it does, the money goes away. There's many times in history where men have invented sustainable energy, and they've built automobiles, they've built planes, they've built turbines, they've built different technologies, Nikola Tesla. They've built sustainable energy, and the next thing you know, they're gone. And all of their schematics and all of, their blueprints and their patents get taken. And they are no longer with us. Keep that in mind, Department of Energy. Bro, it's true. Trust me, it's absolutely true. Okay?
All right, for decades.
And one thing to keep in mind, this documentary would have never came out if these whistleblowers would have never stepped forward. We're talking about 80 years plus of information. These guys would have never came, if they would have never came forward, this guy would not be sitting right here trying to do a cover-up for the documentary that is supposed to disclose it all. It's going to lead you in one direction when there's tons of information over here that you won't even be privy to. You won't even think to look at. So you got to have an open mind when you come and look at some of this stuff, because clear as day, it's a psyop. It's a psyop, bro.
They've had these units that go out, and we're not the only ones with these units that are going out to retrieve the stuff.
Yeah.
Russia and China are too. That's the other amazing thing that you reveal in the film, which is that.
And yes, I'm sorry, it's only a 10-minute video. It's supposed to be only a 10-minute video, but this video right here you see here on the right-hand side is a video off of the coast of Yemen. A Hellfire missile struck this UAP. And as it hit the UAP, it broke apart on impact, and a bunch of its fragments got sucked into a gravitational vortex, and it's now locked into the gravitational vortex of the UAP as it flies. You get what I'm saying? So it has its anti-gravitational abilities to be able to fly, and I believe this is one of ours, more than likely, or it's been reverse engineered. Insane, okay?
We're in a secret arms race.
Yeah, it's arguably the most shocking of the reveals that there is this high-stakes secret Cold War race to reverse engineer technology of non-human origin that the United States is involved in with adversarial nations like China and Russia.
We think China and Russia both have retrieved alien spacecraft as well.
That's what the officials in my film go on the record stating.
They go on the record, in fact, saying that, but in 1989, we think the Soviets retrieved a tic-tac shaped spacecraft that had crashed.
which was significantly larger than the Tic Tac encountered by the Nimitz carrier strike group and, Commander Dave Fravor, who pursued it.
You also have two different astrophysicists in the documentary who say that the government has retrieved at least two different alien species, and that one of them made contact with the crash retrieval team. What does that mean? Does that mean it was alive when they captured it?
One of the intelligence officials in the film speaks about an event that happened on a U.S. military base where two UAP approached the base. One of them landed, and apparently non-human beings exited the craft and interacted with members of the Air Force and the CIA. Now, here's the thing: these all sound like extraordinary claims. that are hard for people to wrap their head around, right?
Yeah.
But these are 34, in my film, there's 34 extremely high-level military, government, and intelligence officials, people who have been trusted with very high-level security clearances, people who have been involved in, keeping this nation safe in many different ways, and people who we trust in a lot of scenarios. And these interview subjects range from our Secretary of State to sitting senators to former Director of National Intelligence, a former Secretary of Defense, leaders from the Pentagon, leaders from the CIA, leaders from the Air Force, leaders from the Navy. I mean, the list goes.
Just imagine if they would have never came forward, you would not know about this. After 9/11, there was the Patriot Act. Okay? We all know the CIA is listening to us at all times. They can access the camera and the microphone on your smart TV and listen to your conversations while your TV is off. Like, this is all a psyop. They're not telling the truth. One key critical thing I just want you to also look at his facial expressions. There's going to be slight and subtle signs that this is rehearsed, and also some of the questioning is going to make him uncomfortable. So she's going to ask a couple questions. It's going to make him a little bit uncomfortable about those underwater bases or the underwater UAPs. So keep that in mind. Watch his face.
On and on. It's really hard to ignore what these people are saying.
It's really hard to say this is one kooky person doing this when you have this much experience in every level and every branch of government all coming together on camera to say, not only have we retrieved alien spacecraft, we've retrieved alien remains.
Yeah, and keep in mind, these are people that are not aligned at all ideologically or politically, right? But they're aligned on this. So it's 34 senior officials sharing one truth.
This was something that I did not know, was that during the second Bush presidency, Bush 2, they actually they convened a cabinet meeting and debated and discussed for days about whether or not to finally go public with this program, with what they have found and what they have discovered.
So Bush 2 had learned the base facts that we're not alone in the universe and that there have been recoveries of technology of non-human origin. And he was contemplating whether to share that with the world during his presidency. And he put together a think tank. One of the officials in my film was part of that think tank, and he goes on the record about it. They were asked to analyze the impact to various aspects of our society, from religion to the economy, and they all went into it bullish on the idea of disclosure. And after evaluating it, they all decided it was a bad idea.
Why?
For various reasons, just the impact, the place we were as a country following 9/11. They just didn't think it was a good idea. They thought that.
Keep that in mind. Guess what? Bush got us inside of Afghanistan. We went to war with Al-Qaeda. Baghdad, bombs over Baghdad. Iraq. All of that. Iraqi freedom. Weapons of mass destruction. Right? Guess what? Let's get that oil, boys. Let's get that oil. If this would have came out, you think we'll be going over and losing thousands and thousands of our soldiers to fight some pointless war? If this information would have came out? 9/11. Inside job. Not an inside job, but I think just look up the dancing Israelis. I think that'll tell you. If you look up the dancing Israelis, and you look up the Israelis that were like art students inside the towers. I'm saying a lot right now without saying a lot. Yeah. Look up the insurance policy put on the building, the World Trade buildings before they went down. Yup.
That we weren't ready for it, right? The film also reveals that in Trump's first administration, he contemplated going public in a similar way. One of the officials in my film, high-level intelligence official, goes on record saying that Secretary Mnuchin reached out to him and asked him for a high-level briefing on this topic because he wanted to know what the economic repercussions might be.
No, I love that part of it because he says, "Do you want to know why I'm asking you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Why?" He said, "Because I need to figure out what's going to happen to our economy if we come out as a government and say aliens exist, aliens are here, and we have them."
Yeah, and obviously they made the same decision Bush 2 did, which was to not go public, right? To keep it internal to the people who know.
There was one part of the documentary I wanted more information on. You interview a former military analyst who said that he and others who had interactions with the UAPs are now suffering physical effects. What interactions did they have?
Yeah, so one of the, to be honest, not so shocking reveals is that intelligence officials who have had encounters with UAP end up having biological effects. And I say not surprising because this is technology that we don't understand fully, that is emitting a lot of energy. And in the same way that if you stand behind the back of a,
so he came close
fighter
to
jet, you're going to get hurt.
He came close to one of these.
Yeah, came close to multiple UAP and ended up having biological effects.
You can't see radiation, can you? So one of my buildings that I work at, well, actually I don't necessarily work at, but it's tied into the chain of buildings that I could possibly work with or work at, has radiation. It won't be clear of radiation until a certain day. These things are emitting so much energy. And to reverse engineer, like, just think about the technological boom that happened. All of a sudden we had smartphones. Do you think that was just a coincidence? Or is that technology or alien of origin? It's alien of origin, man. The origin is alien, basically. I think we came across the technology, it fell to Earth, either it was given to us, because I think there's an alien federation. I think there's a certain federation that actually is employing and empowering certain governments for innovation. And this is the age of disclosure, man. So basically, you're going to get a whole lot of that between now and 2030.
And yet, because so much of this information is classified, none of them can go on camera and say what they saw specifically.
Yeah, not specifically. So look, the reality of it is, for 80 years, all of this has been kept from the public, Congress, and even sitting presidents. And I think that really changes today when this movie comes out and the public learns the truth finally. And my hope is it sets the stage for the president finally stepping up and telling the world the base facts, that we're not alone in the universe and what he knows is going on.
At the very least, he'll convene maybe a cabinet meeting in which, then they'll all say, would it be?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the world is more prepared for this.
I think
now.
we're ready for it. I think the people can handle the truth.
Okay, last question. You point out in the documentary, I found this very intriguing, but you point
This is where he gets uncomfortable. Watch his body language.
out that we as humans have only mapped about 27% of Earth's oceans. We know more about the surface of the moon and the surface of Mars than we do about our own oceans.
Yeah.
And you have several of these astrophysicists and intelligence officials saying, you know what? It's possible these objects, these UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, aren't coming from outer space. They might be coming from the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, look, moreover, we have, senior members of the House Intelligence Committee going on the record saying that the craft seen coming out of the ocean are otherworldly things. They straight up say on camera, these are not rockets, they're not aircraft.
They're moving at hundreds of miles an hour underwater,
they're
which
otherworldly
is inconceivable.
things defying physics as we know it. And then retired Admiral Gallaudet, who was the chief oceanographer of the United States Navy, he is the one who states, that fact you just shared, and that he makes the point of if you were an intelligent species from somewhere else and you wanted to hide from humanity, the most obvious place would be our oceans.
Right, that's where you got to hide. Wow, it's a fascinating documentary. It's on Amazon Prime Video starting tonight. It's also in theaters.
So it's in some theaters. It's also on Amazon Prime. So we're going to disseminate this information out to the masses. So collectively, all the masses can have a certain idea and think in a certain way. It's called pre-programming. We're going to program you to think a certain way. And now, basically, age of disclosure, disclose as much information we want you to know and not the full truth. Just keep that in mind. Not the full truth will be there. So I definitely think you need to watch the documentary. I think it's worth it, man. But really, this is a two-part thing. The documentary, then also the man who fell to Earth. It's only 10 episodes. You know, grab your wife, grab your girlfriend, grab your kids, grab some popcorn.
Imagine.
Showtime, baby.
They're gonna take the house next month.
This show's so good.
I'm always working. Molly has no one.
I saw something. It freaked me out.
Fire, bro. So yeah, on that note, man, thanks for watching the video. I think I think it's a second or two left.
Dan, congratulations. It's called The Age of...
The Age of Disclosure.
I almost said
The Age of
innocence. I was like,
Disclosure,
you can tell I've got Friday brain.
Prime Video worldwide, theaters New York, Los
Prime Video. If you got Amazon Prime, you got this, man. Prime Video, man. It's prime time.
Angeles, and DC.
It's really great. Congrats.
Thank you.
Great
I
to have you
appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
Yeah, so like he said, thank you for watching. Subscribe below. Come back for more in the next day or so. You probably within the next, let's say 24 hours. You're getting you a Mothman video, man. Aren't you so happy? You getting this is for you. You getting you a Mothman video. So come back for more. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, come back for more. And I did do a whole lot of talking on this video. You know, my apologies. You know, leave it in the comment section. And, hey, you can just type, shut up. Okay? If I'm talking too much, just let me know, you know. Or tone it down a bit. Tone it down a little, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case, just let me know. Give me feedback because I need it for growth. That's essential for growth, you know. You just one big community. This is the Milkside community. Come back for more, man. And I know we're just getting started. I'm so close to 100 subscribers. I'm at 92 subscribers. All right. Well, thank you for all my subscribers, man. I really appreciate you for showing the support and showing interest in this kind of thing, because I think more people need to show interest in just critical thinking and just like not following what they feed you, because they're going to feed you one thing, but you just have to, you know, come in and approach everything with an open mind and be able to actually be analytical about everything. You know, it's just the more information that we have, the better we can make informed decisions. Okay. Thank you. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.